Hello, and welcome to another episode of the We Build Families podcast. My name is Pastor B, and this podcast is designed to create a space for us to talk about everyday situations that we may not have an opportunity to discuss in church. It's our desire and goal to provide godly principles as well as practical applications to these very important issues. Today's topic is a quarantine sales pitch. Some of us are stuck in the house. All of our lives have been adjusted and changed due to this pandemic. And so I wanted to bring on a life coach, a job guru to kind of give us some additional tips in how we can maximize our current time inside of our homes as well as get us ready for the pandemic once it's over with. And so with me, I have a really good friend of mine. She goes by Coach Candace, and she is how can I put this, man? She helps everyone who wants to better their job, get raises, present themselves better. She does so many wonderful things, and I just want to invite her to this podcast. Coach Candace, how are we doing today?
Hey, brother. You can call me Candace.
Excuse me, Candace. How are you?
We're family. We're good.
Good. So, as I mentioned earlier, we're in, quarantine. I think here in Louisiana, we've been kind of quarantined for a little over a month now. And so we realize that it's affecting every part of our lives. I just did a little bit of research. I think last week there were about close to between 4 and 6 million unemployment cases filed throughout the entire nation. And I think here in Louisiana, we're looking at about 6% with the unemployment rate. So jobs are probably not as available as they once were. So that means that we have to adjust to the time and also make plans for the future. So I guess my first question is, what kind of trends are you seeing as far as the current job climate? And do you see any type of current jobs that may be transitioning into something different once this is over with?
Okay. Well, let me start with this. The reason why the unemployment rate is so high is because what the state is offering is more than what someone receives as their annual income.
Mm.
So a lot of people were like, well, I can stay at home for this, so I'm gonna go home, and they quit their jobs, not knowing that this is only temporary. So that's part of the problem.
Mm.
Secondly, there are a lot of opportunities that are available out there, but due to the COVID-19, because of the situations that we're in per our governor, it is eliminating a lot of positions because they're not essential. So certain companies are only allowed to have so many employees within the building at a time. And then for those essential positions that are open, some of those are working remotely, meaning that you have to have some type of technical skills, meaning you have to know how to operate and connect and troubleshoot, your computer while you're at home, because most companies do not have an IT manager. So you have to be that IT manager. So specifically in Louisiana, there are a lot of opportunities available. Unfortunately, they're skilled opportunities and not entry level opportunities. Now, the opportunities that are available that are not as executive level are call centers. And that's customer service, being on the phone all day long. And I know you know something about that.
I do.
Yes. And so what they're looking for are people who are willing to stay on the phone more than 8 hours a day, meaning that you cannot be an 8 to 5 person. You have to be, until all the calls are out of the queue. And so a lot of people are not looking for more than 8 hours or more than, 20, 25 hours a week. So one of the things that we're battling with our firm is people who desire to work, because
Gotcha.
the jobs are out there. It's
Yeah.
just that we're looking for people who desire to work, one, because they're looking for a full-time opportunity, and two, they're not as concerned about the COVID-19. They're more concerned about, the safety of their family and providing for their family.
Definitely. So you brought up something, a really important point that I kind of wanted to talk about for a moment. So the traditional 9 to 5, 40-hour work week, do you see that model as a sustainable one as we, go through this COVID-19 and as we come out of it? Is that something that most businesses will continue to do, or do you see that changing at some point?
Absolutely not. It will change. Some companies will find out that, they will save money by having employees work remotely. So their office hours may be condensed, meaning that they may only be open a few days a week, or they will only open for a certain amount of hours, which is less than the normal 8 to 9 hour workday.
Mhm.
And then the hours for some companies who have essential employees that actually come in, the hours will be longer due to the fact, specifically dealing with manufacturing, hospitals, clinics, things of that nature. Just think about this for a second. Once the economy opens back up, think about how many people will need different products or will need different services, things of that nature. All of that cannot be handled in an 8 hour, window. And most companies, if I be frank about it, they're not going to miss a dollar. So by any means necessary, they're going to keep that business open. And then I believe that some businesses will have an AM and PM shift now. Actually, one of my clients is going to that. Company's been open for over 30 years, and now they're going to AM PM shift.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something. So you mentioned earlier, I do work in the call center. And so I've been, I guess, accustomed to flexible scheduling for the
Mhm.
last 6 or 7 years. But I've noticed that as our economy has shifted and as um, you know certain established trades are kind of not as you don't have as many people working some of those traditional jobs now. That model, the 8 to 5, 9 to 5, 40-hour work week, is not really working for this generation of worker. So with that being said, what type of skills do you believe we should be focusing on? If we don't have those skills, what skills do you think we should make every attempt to learn to, make ourselves more employable?
Okay, one thing is work ethic. You know, to make sure that you're disciplined to work alone and not having to be micromanaged. That's one thing that can eliminate you from the process. Two, communication skills. I
Mm.
always make the joke with my candidates, don't use words you can't spell nor pronounce.
That,
Just we're from Louisiana, so we have a little slang. It's okay for you to use your slang, but when you utilize words that you can't spell or pronounce, that can eliminate you from the process. The other thing is to make sure that you're up to date on technology. There's so many different, and I can't go into it today because I don't have the exact resources available to share with you. But there's so many different online tutorials, even on YouTube, that you can use to learn basic Microsoft Office, which is Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You can also learn CRMs. You can
mhm.
also learn, just different sales data networking tools that are available. So if I had to say three things for sure would be work ethic, communication skills, as well as technology, getting in tune, because everyone that's using Zoom now is like, oh my God, this is super cool. We've been using Zoom for
Been around
years.
for a long time. Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
that's not new. That's not new. Or being able to, more interviews will be virtual now instead of in person, you know?
Yeah, perfect segue to one of the questions I had. So, I actually did a over the phone interview for my current job.
Uh-huh.
And it was weird because I'm a person to person. I like reading body language, and that's how I've done all of my interviews. And so I
Absolutely.
felt very uncomfortable, and I didn't feel like I presented my best self because I was looking at a screen. And so, what are ways for us to sell ourselves in these types of virtual interviews?
Okay, let me tell you this. One of the things is set your area up as if you were at work.
Mm,
Dress
okay.
the part, look the part, take a bath, wash your face, brush your teeth, do everything you would for a normal interview. Also have notes that are next to your iPad or your laptop or your phone, whatever you're utilizing, but don't let them see your notes. Make sure you have notes about the company to show that you have interest. Make sure you have notes about the position and how you're qualified based upon the core qualifications that they're looking for. And repeat those things back to them so they can understand that you are a fit. And then also make sure you research the culture of the company, meaning ask questions about a typical day in the office. And once you get answers to that, tell them how you would fit. A lot of employers are not looking just for skilled individuals. They're looking for people who are a culture fit. So if we're using ABC company and they pride themselves on customer service, and you're on a telephone interview or a virtual interview and you're like, my name is Candace Thomas, and I really appreciate this opportunity. I think this is an excellent opportunity. Immediately in their head, they're like, no. But if you're in customer service and you're talking with a nice tone and you're introducing yourself and talk about the skills that you do have, and then relay back to them what they're looking for, immediately your voice is what's going to get you the second interview or get you the offer letter. Secondly, the fact that you have taken the time to research the company and you're able to tell them what their core qualifications are and how you fit that position will get you in the door. I promise you, it will get you in the door.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And the one thing that you mentioned that I know that I can learn from your conversation is just make sure that you are very well prepared. Spend
Yes.
time to research, spend the time to investigate the job that you're trying to get.
Can I
That
say this?
way, we're not caught off guard.
So think about this. You're the hiring manager for your company, right?
Hmm.
You post a job on Indeed, Career Builder, whatever platform that you use, LinkedIn. You're going to receive over 400 to 500 resumes for that one position. Are you going to go through every resume? No. So what you're going to do, you're going to look for keywords within that resume that matches, the job description that you provided, and you're going to pull those. They have the skills. That's not what you're looking for in the interview. You're looking to see if they prepared, you're looking to check their tone, and you're looking for their presentation.
Mm. Tone and presentation. Good. Great. Great. Great point. So, in thinking about this particular topic, again, I believe some of the foundational truths are the same, whether we were in our normal working environment or in this case, where a lot of us are working, from our homes. And what do you say to someone who comes to you who is a little unsure about either they're fit for the job or if they can complete the job? How do you ease some of the doubts that some of your clients may present to you?
So one of the things I ask, why are you applying for this job? Are you just clicking on every job that you see and the first thing you want? Or do you have a desire to work in this field? Is this something that you're passionate about? Okay, if it is something that you're passionate about, something that you really, really want to do, tell me why. And once they start telling me why they want this position and talk about their skills and their passion, then we go over the core qualifications. Okay, so they require Microsoft Office. Tell me about your experience with Microsoft Office. They need someone that's always on time. Tell me about your timeliness. How do your time management skills? Tell me what a typical work day would be like for you if you're answering 200 calls a day and you're having to enter data and still file and greet people at the door. How would you juggle that? And so once we talk through their passion and how they are, and talk about their skills and how they relate to the job, then we talk about the areas of unsurety, meaning that, okay, they required a master's degree. I only have a bachelor's degree. But how many years of experience do you have? And did it say they preferred or was it mandatory?
Got it.
Those are words that you have to look into. And believe it or not, a lot of people don't read, they scan. job descriptions. So that right there like clears up 50% of their unsurety or their doubt when applying for something, because this is what'll happen. I'll take someone like you, very, very sharp guy, very articulate, but you'll see something that says a doctorate degree and you'll stop. I ain't applying for that.
Mhm.
And you think you're not qualified. But it said doctorate degree preferred. You just missed out on an opportunity that you could have had because you were qualified all the way up
Right.
to the doctorate degree on paper. But when it says preferred, that means it's optional. So let's pay attention to the language in the job descriptions. Let's talk about what you're capable of and what you're confident in. And then remember this, even if you did it as a volunteer job, talking to my church people, if you did it at church, that's still experience and it needs to be included on your resume and it can work in an interview.
So life experiences, certain life experiences outside of your typical 9 to 5, those things can be included whenever you're okay.
Absolutely. Because if you think about it, the majority of what we learn is outside of work. You know, some of us have side businesses, some of us work in the church, some of us volunteer with different organizations or whatever. All of that is essential to your resume, and it should be shown so people can know, hey, this is not the only area where they're utilizing this.
Got it. So I was thinking about something whenever you were talking earlier about learning skills and trying to find if there's any technical skills that you're not that you don't know. And so I recently, and this is not a plug, they're not paying me for this, although one day I will get paid for ads. I came across a website called Skillshare.com.
Yeah.
And so with Skillshare, of course, Skillshare. You can basically sign up for like 60 days free. And there's so many webinars, classes. I'm currently taking a class that kind of helped me in this area of podcasting and video and editing and things like that. And so the reason for me saying that is there is information out there if you want to work in a new field, but you don't have the experience. There's so much out there for people to equip themselves so that we don't use the excuse of not knowing how to do something if we really want to work in a certain field.
Yeah, now is the time to do that, especially while being quarantined. Mm-hmm. Now is the time to learn as many skills as possible. I am on webinars after Zoom meetings and conference calls about the workforce in our area. There are jobs in Louisiana, but they're looking for people that are coachable, willing to be trained. You've got to be coachable. So if all they're looking for is a willing candidate, I almost said a willing soul, a willing candidate, they will train you, but you have to remember, you have to be coachable. So there's going to be a lot of reading, a lot of research, a lot of online tutorials that you're probably going to have to go through. But I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but Louisiana is almost in the position to be in the top 3 IT hubs in the South.
I did not know that.
Yes. There are, I'm going to tell you this too. I can share this. Our firm works on positions in IT that I thought I would have never imagined to be in this area, but we can't talk about them because they require security clearance and they're confidential positions. But know this, they're exciting opportunities, and they're taking people from like Teleperformance and from Walmart and from fast food restaurants. All they're looking for is customer service. Can you communicate?
Yeah.
Will you be on time? And will you follow through?
Right.
What they're looking for.
I think we're going to have a conversation after we finish. But yeah, so it's really important that we do maximize this time, uh,
Yes.
because I know that, you know, there, I can sense that our job market is going to shift as far as where the jobs will be for the next 5 years.
Okay.
Whereas, you know, of course, healthcare, social work, those things are foundational to our existence. But if there ever was a time where technical skills and you know, things online, if you don't have those skills, we definitely need to sharpen those skills even now, so that we can, you know, as you mentioned, get paid to do some of the things, and we can have, you know, sustainable income for the next couple
Right.
of.
Right. And don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to step out there and say, you know what, I don't know where to start. Google. Type what you want to do, Google. If you want to start somewhere, learn the basics. Learn the computer basics, learn Microsoft Office, you know, learn your the most common software that people utilize today. Learn all of that. If you can learn the surface of that and work on your typing and data entry skills,
Good.
for executive level people, you know, make sure that you have experience with supervision and experience with management, experience with um, collaborating with teams,
Mhm.
good a resolutionist. That's the word I was looking for. Someone that is able to resolve issues,
Yeah.
not looking for someone to resolve them, but able to resolve them.
Great, great, great. So right before we wrap up today, Coach Candace, let the people know how you can be contacted on social media if they have any further questions, or if they want to take advantage of the opportunity that your firm provides.
Sure. So you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook, Coach Candace, KoachKandis. Sometimes post jobs, hopefully, you know, weekly or every other week. You can follow me on there. And then on Instagram, I'll do a better job at posting positions on there. But if you have any questions, feel free to direct message me on either platforms.
All right. Well, again, Coach Candace, thank you so much for joining us on this episode today. And as well, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. Of course, you can find these podcasts on Apple Podcasts. We're actually now on Google Podcasts as well as Spotify. Also, this video link will be available on YouTube as well. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode. And until next week, you guys have a great day.